Last night you dreamed. You always do. Every single night, multiple times. But by the time you opened your eyes this morning, it was already gone. Not faded, not fuzzy, gone. Like it never happened at all. And here's the unsettling part. Scientists estimate that the average person forgets nearly 90% of every dream within just a few minutes of waking up. So why does your brain go through the trouble of creating an entire world every single night with characters, conversations, places you've never been, emotions you can still feel in your chest, only to delete almost all of it before you even sit up in bed? The answer isn't that your memory is broken. It's that your brain is doing something on purpose. And once you understand why, you'll never look at sleep the same way again. For most of human history, people assumed dreams were either prophecy, punishment, or pure nonsense. It wasn't until 1953 that anyone even had a scientific framework to study them properly. That year, researchers Eugene Aserinsky and Nathaniel Kleitman at the University of Chicago discovered something strange happening to sleeping test subjects. Their eyes were darting back and forth rapidly underneath their closed eyelids, almost as if they were watching something. When the researchers woke people up during these episodes, the subjects reported vivid, detailed dreams almost every time. This was the discovery of REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, and it changed everything we thought we knew about the sleeping brain. REM sleep, it turns out, is one of the strangest states your brain ever enters. Brain scans show that during REM, your brain is almost as electrically active as it is when you're fully awake. Your visual cortex lights up. Your emotional centers light up. Even the motor areas of your brain that control movement become active, which is exactly why your body has to temporarily paralyze itself during REM sleep, so you don't physically act out what you're dreaming. Your brain is essentially running a full simulation. Sights, sounds, physical sensations, conversations, fear, joy, grief, all of it generated internally, all of it feeling completely real while it's happening. So if your brain is that active, why can't it hold on to any of it? The answer lies in chemistry, specifically in one neurotransmitter, norepinephrine. While you're awake, norepinephrine is one of the key chemicals responsible for helping your brain encode new experiences into memory. It's part of the system that says, this is happening, save it. But during REM sleep, norepinephrine production drops to almost nothing. A 2016 study by researchers Antonio Becchetti and Annalisa Amadeo examined exactly this shift, showing that the brain moves from a waking state dominated by norepinephrine and acetylcholine to a REM state dominated almost entirely by acetylcholine alone. Acetylcholine is great at generating vivid internal imagery. It's part of why dreams feel so real. But without norepinephrine, your brain lacks the chemical signal it normally uses to lock an experience into long-term storage. In other words, your brain is dreaming in a biochemical environment specifically designed to prevent you from remembering it. That alone is strange enough, but it gets stranger. In 2019, researchers studying the hypothalamus discovered a group of neurons that release a chemical called MCH, and these neurons become highly active during REM sleep. When scientists artificially activated these neurons in animal studies, the animals became measurably worse at forming new memories during that window. The implication was striking. This wasn't just your brain failing to save dream content by accident. There appeared to be an active forgetting mechanism, deliberately suppressing memory formation while you dream. Your brain isn't just failing to hit save. Something inside your brain may be actively hitting delete. Why would evolution build a system that works this hard to erase something it just spent enormous energy creating? This is where things take a turn nobody expects. In 1983, two scientists, Francis Crick, the same Francis Crick who co-discovered the structure of DNA, and Graham Mitchison, published a theory that dreams might exist specifically to forget. They called it reverse learning. Their idea was that your brain spends every single day absorbing an overwhelming amount of information, far more than it can usefully store. Most of it is noise, half-formed associations, irrelevant details, weak neural connections that don't serve you. Crick and Mitchison proposed that REM sleep might function like a nightly cleanup crew, sweeping through the brain and clearing out these unnecessary connections so your neural network doesn't get clogged with junk. Under this theory, dreaming isn't a failed memory. Dreaming might be a side effect of forgetting on purpose. Think about what that means. The vivid, emotional, sometimes terrifying experience you have every night may not be your brain trying to tell you something. It might be the visible static of your brain quietly taking out the trash. You don't remember most of it for the same reason you don't remember most of static on an old television screen. It was never meant to be the message. It was the byproduct of the process running underneath it. And this reframes the entire experience of dreaming. You're not failing to hold on to something precious. Your brain may be working exactly as intended, protecting your waking mind from being flooded with thousands of fragmented, half-real experiences that would make it harder, not easier, to function. Imagine for a moment if this system broke. Imagine if you remembered every dream in full detail, every single night, for your entire life. By your 30s, you'd be carrying around tens of thousands of vivid alternate experiences, conversations with people who don't exist, places that were never real, emotional events your brain would have no way of separating from your actual memories. Some researchers who study rare cases of extremely high dream recall have noted that these individuals often report difficulty distinguishing dream memories from real memories over time. The forgetting isn't the malfunction. The remembering would be. Which brings us to the part of this that hits closer to home than you might expect. You're already living a smaller version of this every single day, just not while you're asleep. Think about how much information passes through your mind during an average day right now. You scroll past hundreds of pieces of content. You have dozens of small thoughts, reactions, half-formed opinions about things you saw for 2 seconds and then never thought about again. By tonight, you won't remember 95% of what you scrolled past this morning. Not because something is wrong with you, but because your brain is constantly making the same decision it makes every night in REM sleep. This isn't worth keeping. Your waking mind is doing reverse learning too. It's just doing it more slowly, and you're awake to feel each piece slip away instead of losing it all at once in your sleep. That's not a flaw in how your brain handles modern life. That's the same ancient filtering system, just running on a different kind of overload. So tonight, you'll dream again. Multiple times. Your brain will build entire worlds, run entire conversations, generate fear and joy and grief that will feel completely real while they're happening. And by the time your alarm goes off, almost all of it will be gone. Not because your brain failed, because somewhere in the dark, your brain spent the night quietly deciding what was worth keeping, and chose on purpose to let almost all of it go.